a cut in FBI infiltration operatives. That's what we'll talk about today. On my radio show on WPHT at 12:10 a.m. if you're in the Philadelphia region, from 2 to 6. And if you're not, click on dickmorris.com and I can be with you all afternoon. And it's a fascinating show. Last week, I interviewed Stephen Emerson, who is the internationally recognized expert on the Muslim Brotherhood, and in particular its infiltration strategy in the United States. He's been writing about it for 30 years. And he began his efforts by actually himself infiltrating various of these groups and learning how they worked. He says two things that are chilling taken together. First, that Al-Qaeda is changing its strategy, and instead of sending operatives from Arab-speaking countries or from Arab countries, it is sending them from countries that are not ethnically Arab, because they're less likely to be picked up by U.S. Homeland Security, hence the Chechnyan brothers who pulled off the Boston attack, and the Nigerian shoe bomber, or underwear bomber, whichever it was, who tried to blow up an airplane. People that are not normally regarded as ethnically terror types. But the second thing is even more chilling. He reports that a high-ranking, highly credible source at Homeland Security and in the FBI, a close friend of his, says that they have cut the budget for training agents to infiltrate homegrown Muslim Brotherhood extremist groups by 50%. He makes the point that it takes 2 to 3 years of training to train an agent to infiltrate. They have to learn Arabic. They have to be almost flawlessly fluent. They have to learn all kinds of stuff to be able to pass themselves off and join one of these Muslim Brotherhoods. And he said that the training class, the entering training class, has been reduced by 50% under the Obama administration. Now, the problem is that we are increasingly facing homegrown terrorists recruited and trained by the Muslim Brotherhood. This political correctness of it letting everybody set up mosques all over the place, including trying to set it up at ground zero, really in effect is creating terrorist training centers, because a huge portion of what goes on at these mosques is recruitment and training. In fact, Frank Gaffney, the head of the Center for Security Policy, did an investigation of 100 mosques throughout the United States and found that 80 of them are pressing Sharia, jihad, recruitment and training efforts. 80% of them. 20% are just good old churches where people go to pray to God. But the others are really masquerading as that, but in fact are recruiting centers for terrorism. So what's going on is this concept of trying to recruit and brainwash people who are American-born or in the United States legally for long periods of time and getting them to pull off terror attacks. It's worth noting that of the 129 people that have been indicted for terrorist activity since 9/11, 70% of them were native or naturalized American citizens at the time they were indicted. And most of them were not Islamic until after they had been here for some period of time and had been trained, many of them in prison, actually. So this is a whole new threat, and it's very clear that Obama really is not addressing it, and that's something we've got to worry about.